Poor sleep can age your brain by a year. A new study suggests your sleep habits may be aging your brain faster than the calendar. According to research led by Abigail Dove at Sweden's Karolinska Institute, adults with poor sleep patterns had brains that looked to a year older than their actual age. Using scans from more than 27,000 people, scientists found that poor sleepers showed older brain age, a warning sign for future cognitive decline. The study published in eBiomedicine looked at 5 habits: being an early riser, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, avoiding insomnia, not snoring, and staying alert during the day. Every drop in this score added about a half a year to brain age. Men showed stronger effects than women, and inflammation appeared to explain part of the connection. Researchers say the results suggest poor sleep could contribute to brain aging long before diseases like Alzheimer's appear. Nearly 60% of participants fell short of health sleep standard, meaning better rest may be a relatively simple modification and can be modified in ways to protect brain health. So what's the real message here? Once again, we learned that the secret to living longer, healthier, not getting Alzheimer's, isn't necessarily injecting 147 vitamins and pills and potions a day. It's getting actual sleep. 7 to 8, preferably at least 8 hours of sleep a night. It's not sexy, doesn't look like a good post on social media, but it preserves your brain and will help you live longer. Let's dig a little deeper here. Why do I want to put a spotlight on this? You've certainly heard that more sleep can, in fact, help you. But you maybe see an article about that once a month. There's, yeah, I know that. But every single day, you and I are being bombarded with hundreds, if not thousands of messages, all designed to get us to sleep less. When Netflix comes on and says, hey, you want to watch the next episode? Or it automatically puts it out. Oh, why not? Before you know it, it's midnight. TikTok. My friends on TikTok, they're with us today. It can be so addictive. It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Keep going. Sleep can be later. We live in a culture where people brag, especially young men, especially in the Wall Street world, about how tough they are. Yeah, I pulled another all-nighter. Yeah, I partied till 5 a.m. and I was at the office by 6:30. There's this macho element to getting by on sleep. But we don't say to anyone, no one says, oh, my car drives really well and fast, even though I put only a gallon of gas and the rest of water. No one brags about getting at their prize race car poor quality fuel. And yet that's essentially what we do when we don't fuel our brain with rest. So it bears repeating. Again, this study, let's look at the facts. They looked at 27,000 people, and poor sleepers' brains looked a year older. And this is widely seen as a contributor to dementia, Alzheimer's, other problems. I'm not guaranteeing that if you get an good night's sleep, 8 hours of sleep tonight, you're never going to have Alzheimer's. I'm not guaranteeing that. But when you look at the correlations between people who are poor sleep, who do get Alzheimer's, it is pretty scary. And this is something we can do something about, but it takes a lot of work, especially as you get older. Now, for me and probably you and most people, when you're young, it's easy to fall asleep. You stay up late till 2 a.m. Friday night, just sleep till noon the next day. It's easy. Once you get over a certain age, for you, it could be 40, 50, 60, you're not sleeping in anymore. It's just lost sleep forever. It's grogginess for the next day or two. It means you're not exercising that day because you're too tired. There's a snowball impact in a negative way of even one bad night's sleep. And this is why I think it is essential that we all give sleep more importance. There's a famous skit by the comedian Amy Schumer who says, I'll do anything for a good night's sleep. Anything, doctor, give me a pill, do surgery, anything, do anything to help me get a good night's sleep. I'll do anything. And the doctor turns and says, Amy, turn your cell phone off an hour before you want to fall asleep early in the evening. Oh no, I won't do that. Give me a pill, surgery. I'm not turning my cell phone off. That's crazy talk. Now, she was doing this for comedic effect. But isn't that really how most of us act? One of the best things I've done in my life is start a practice about 5 years ago where I simply turn my phone off at about 8 p.m. sometimes earlier. Do I occasionally miss a text about what someone wants to do the next afternoon and I'll get back to them the next day? Yeah. Has that ever hurt me? No, it has not. So you hear me talk about cell phones a lot. I have a cell phone. It's on right now because we're broadcasting live on TikTok as well as YouTube and Facebook and a gazillion other social media platforms. So it's not that I want you to get rid of it. I do want you to do every possible thing you can to increase the odds of getting a good night's sleep, because it doesn't eliminate, it reduces your chances of Alzheimer's, dementia, and other problems, and it decreases the chances of your brain aging prematurely. Again, this is a new study from a major institute published in eBiomedicine showing that your brain is literally a year older than it appears to be chronologically by lack of sleep. So we're not going to do a whole sleep tutorial. I'll just tell you briefly things I do every single day. I try to have a consistent bedtime. Now you'll laugh if I tell you how early I go to sleep at night. So I probably won't even do that. You need to find a time right for you that allows you to get up without using an alarm clock. Some of you right now are putting your finger in your ear going, what? Is TJ insane? I couldn't have heard him say, don't use an alarm clock. I've used an alarm clock my whole life. I'm here to tell you, if you are using an alarm clock, you're not getting enough sleep. You are potentially shortening your life. You are potentially aging your brain. If you use an alarm clock, you're forcing your body to wake up when it still wants to sleep. So TJ, how can I possibly not use an alarm clock? You got to go to bed earlier. I won't fall asleep then. Turn off all the TVs and cell phones and everything else at least an hour, maybe 2 hours before you need to fall asleep. Let me walk you through the math. If you have to be somewhere at 7:30 in the morning and you have to get up at least by 7, or you have to leave the house by 7, and let's say you want an hour to get ready, have breakfast, brush your teeth, relax, means you have to get up at 6 a.m. If you actually want to have a good chance of 8 hours of sleep, it means you need to be asleep by 10 p.m. If you want to be asleep by 10 p.m., it means you need to have everything done, be in a relaxed state, ideally in bed or reading by 9:30, because it takes a little while to fall asleep sometimes. If you're going to be in bed and ready by 9:30, it means you need to start getting ready, ending activities, not doing other things around 9. And if you really want to increase your odds of not having your brain all jumbled and agitated, it means turning off your cell phone by 8. And I realize that may sound bizarre to somebody. TJ's lost his mind. How can I possibly turn off my phone at 8 p.m.? You can't. Nothing bad will happen to you unless you are the only surgeon on call for the emergency room in your small town. If that's you, by all means, keep your cell phone off or have a pager on, turn your cell phone off. But for everyone else, it's just a distraction, and it benefits a handful of people. It benefits Mark Zuckerberg. It benefits Elon Musk. It benefits the owners of these distraction machines that get us all riled up and upset. And yeah, I'm a part of this culture because right now I'm on every social media platform. And yes, I do want you to watch it, but I hope you can watch it or listen to it in the podcast format in a way that doesn't disrupt your sleep. Other practices that I do, I'll just share them with you. I sleep with a white noise machine on. If there's a loud car honking outside, it doesn't wake me up. Someone else in the family is up later or turning on a TV. I can't control everyone. I don't hear it because I have a noise machine on. I put earplugs in. If someone walks into the room, because my wife goes to bed later than I do, typically, and she has to turn on the light on, it doesn't wake me up. Why? I put an eye mask on. Does it look really macho and beautiful and stunning like in a rom-com movie? No. But does it help me get a better night's sleep? Yes, it does. So you got to figure out what works for you. But if you tell yourself, oh, I only need 5 hours, I only need 6 hours, I only need 7 hours, you don't know that. Just because you're not getting it doesn't mean your brain doesn't need it for optimum performance. If you have an old house with an old leaky roof, maybe the whole house doesn't fall down. But if after every rain, there's 2 inches of water on the floor, you wouldn't just say, well, I don't really need to block out more than 2 inches of rain. I mean, the house is still standing. I don't need to fix the roof. You wouldn't say that. That's essentially what you are saying. If you are getting less than really 8 hours for most people. Is there an extreme 1 or 2, 3% of people who really do function at 100% capacity with less than 8 hours sleep? Yeah, there are. It's an extremely small percentage. Chances are you aren't one of them. If you need an alarm clock to get up, guess what? You're not one of them. The way you can tell if you genuinely need less sleep is to at least go a week. Turn off all electronics after 6 p.m. Do not use an alarm clock. Don't watch TV. Read a paper book in the evening until you fall asleep. Wake up whenever you wake up and write down how many hours and minutes that was. Do that for a week. Average it out. That's probably what you actually need. And I think you'd be shocked. So many people I meet tell me, well, TJ, I can't fall asleep until midnight. Okay, when you're in college, when you're 18-year-olds, I get it. That's how young people are wired. But I always ask, well, what are you actually doing in the evening? And it's, well, I watch the local news. I do the last few minutes of email from clients and colleagues. I do a quick check on social media. I check the weather for tomorrow. I'm writing out my schedule. Well, that's watching The Tonight Show. That's why you're not falling asleep till midnight. You're exposing your eyes to so much light, so much stimulation. And if you're on social media or regular media, you're exposing yourself to lots and lots of anger, getting you agitated. Why not read a nice work of fiction, a mystery, starting at 8 p.m.? Then tell me how long it takes you to fall asleep. I'm constantly amazed by people who tell me they can't fall asleep before midnight. And I get them to try this experiment, which is, okay, let's turn off your phone at 8 o'clock. Just start reading a book in as dim a lighting as you can take, or on something like a Kindle Paperwhite, and no other lights in the room. And tell me, does it take 3 hours to fall asleep? And typically they say, I fell asleep in 15 minutes. That's because your body is deprived of sleep. Inflammation. Also, there's a 10% link between poor sleep and older brain. So inflammation is a problem that affects virtually every human being. And you dramatically increase the chances of inflammation by getting less sleep. There's so many benefits to good sleep. Now, I did just invest in something. I'm not endorsing them yet. I haven't tried it yet, but I did just purchase the 8 Sleep, something you put on your mattress to adjust the temperature. I'll report to you in a month or so how that goes. I'm expecting to get it. I've been using the Oura Ring. Again, I'm not an affiliate. I'm not making any money, but you may have seen this on my hand before. This tracks my sleep and tells me exactly what kind of sleep I'm getting, the quality of sleep. So it does, for example, tell me if I exercise after about 8 p.m. and play pickleball, well, that's good. That's good for my body in some ways, but typically I get much poorer sleep quality. I wouldn't know that if I didn't track it through this kind of a sleep tracker. So again, I'm not endorsing this one. You may want to look at other sleep trackers, but I do think it's good for you to know exactly, not just how long you're sleeping, but the quality of your sleep as well.